Well, hey guys, welcome back. It's been about 6 weeks now since our traverse across the state for this special. So we go to Butte, we went to Lincoln, we went to Helena. It was kind of a trip back through memory lane for you a lot of the time. What was your highlight?
Oh, wow. You kind of put me on. For me, it was getting back to KXLF-TV where I worked as the news director, and walking through there, it was a walk down memory lane and getting to stand in my old office and kind of relive the moment when the Ted Kaczynski story became real to me. That was probably the highlight. But it was good to see my cousin Jerry in Lincoln as well. And hanging out with you guys is always fun.
We did have a good time for sure. Brandon, what about you? What are you going to remember most?
Oh man. What I was shocked the most about, honestly, and I know that wasn't the question, but was how many restaurants there were in Lincoln. I was shocked by that, honestly, which was good for us since we were working late and things like that. But honestly, I think the best part about the trip for me was meeting Jerry Burns and hearing his story.
It really is incredible. I remember kind of this whole thing started when I was over at Brandon's house late last year, late in 2020, and we had somehow stumbled upon this conversation about the Unabomber case. And I asked, have you heard Jay's connection to it? Because when I first heard the story from you, Jay, it was stunning. I mean, it's just one of those stories that I basically tell everybody that I can at this point. Not only your connection to MTN with it, but obviously finding out years later about Jerry.
Yeah, my dad was the one I think I mentioned in our interview back in Butte that he was the one saying, hey, did you know your cousin was the guy that actually grabbed Ted Kaczynski? And I was like, no, I need to learn that. He goes, he'd be a good interview.
The town doesn't seem like they want to remember this story in this case at all. There's very little paraphernalia, of course, except for the one Montanan steakhouse, which you two couldn't resist a souvenir.
The Unabomber Stout is the beer of choice there, and I had to get the hat, and it's quite a conversation piece.
Yeah, I mean, well, I had to buy the hoodie because it had the picture of the Unabomber on the hoodie, which I honestly bought it for my wife's brother, who is a brewmaster, and so I knew he would love it. And honestly, when I gave it to him, he's probably worn that thing like 8 times. Which was really funny.
And I know, Brandon, one of your favorite stories that didn't make it into the special.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's on the cutting room floor right here next to me. But James Rafferty, he's actually a living legend because he's still like an integral part of what we do at MTN. And the thing that stuck out to me the most, that James Rafferty said, was that he knew where he was in the time because he had gone home to watch General Hospital. So he knew exactly where he was and what time it was. And so, man, I would have liked to have put that in the piece, but it just didn't seem to fit.
We had to give him a little flack for that. As a CBS affiliated group of stations, he was watching ABC at the time and heard the news from Peter Jennings instead of Dan Rather, who had it a little bit earlier because, he just couldn't miss General Hospital that day.
I get it, man. That was way before Netflix. That was when daytime television was at its peak, honestly.
Exactly. Well, I know, speaking for myself, I had a blast doing this story with you two. It's something we're going to remember for a long time, I can imagine.
Yeah, I've already alerted my other cousins of when it's airing, and I'm going to send them the link so they can watch as well. So in our family, it'll be a big night on Saturday.
I honestly, I want to go back. I mean, I really enjoyed meeting everybody in Lincoln. The people in Lincoln are great. They're very accepting. I think Lincoln gets a bad rap. I mean, I've mentioned Lincoln to people before and they're like, oh man, Lincoln, this and that. And that's really not the case. It was awesome. I loved going there. And of course the weather is, you talk about weather changing in a hurry.
Yeah. I mean, it changed our shooting schedule. We were going to go a week earlier in February, and it was during our extreme cold snap when we were checking the weather in Lincoln, and it was, 15, 20 below every day that we were going to be there. And I think Jay was the first one to make the call that said, we probably should push it back a week and maybe not go there then. It was probably the right idea.
And I remember thinking to myself, gosh darn it, I just want to go. I just want to get there. Let's just do this, And then as we were there the following week, I was like, man, it's a good thing we didn't go last week when it was negative 30.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. And until the next time.
Until the next time.
Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Brandon. It's been fun.
Thank you, guys.